Up here. You might have to drive it home because I don't have the alignment. I just try to make it kind of.
Yeah. We'll stop her. She comes out. Okay. I think you and I can stop it. It's not that big of a car.
But it turn the wheels.
It looks badass from here.
Welcome back, folks. Well, it is back. Our Barracuda came home yesterday from Just Mopar Joe's. So I was excited all week. I was on a business trip last week and I had to do a lot of traveling down in Texas. Made it back Friday, got up early yesterday morning, and we headed out to Just Mopar Joe's and picked her up. And I gotta tell you, Joe over-delivered. He did a fantastic job on this car. You know, when we talked, I asked about a driver quality paint job, and he over-delivered on that. I cannot tell you how happy I am with the work that Joe did. Joe, if you're watching, again, I've probably been bugging the hell out of you, telling you how happy I am, but wow, so excited. So, Joe, if you watch the series, go to his Just Mopar Joe YouTube channel and watch the series when we brought him this car. Man, he totally brought it back. He painted it back to the original 1968 Matador Red is what this car was born with. And he reinstalled the factory side stripes. All of the body work, if you look at the body work he did, this car really never had any rust issues, but it had door ding and dent issues. And I was always afraid I'd have to find quarter panels for this car, but Joe said, no, I just need to work them out. He installed new felts for our windows, new rubbers up here for our doors. He just went over and beyond what my expectations were. So if you have a Mopar and you want a really nice body and paint job, I highly recommend Joe Williams. Joe is going to go through and he's going to take the time. So just to recap, we've got replacement bumpers from A&D. We've got Bill Nye, my good friend on Facebook, the Second Gen Barracuda forums. Bill Nye came through on our trim in the back. Thank you, because this is unobtainium stuff here as well. Joe went in and polished all the window trim. Yeah, this is all factory window trim. He polished all of the drip rail moldings. Again, same thing on the front. This is called a hot rod black. I needed something, it didn't have to be, exactly, but something that went along with the theme of the A12 cars. I think they called it Organosol. This works for me. This looks just as good, if not better, in my opinion, for what I'm doing. Obviously, some people have commented on Facebook forums. Yes, I kind of went for the A12 look. They never made an A12 A-body Mopar. I just like the way they look, the Roadrunners and the Super Bs. So hence the six-pack hood and the wheels and tires. So that was the look that we were kind of going for. The grills, these grills were restored by a gentleman in Florida. I can't remember his name, but guys in the comments want to reach out, I'll dig those receipts up. All of these are the originals. I had them sent to him and he restored them. And he did a really, really nice job, I will say. Very happy with that. So now, if you've been watching our channel, you know what this car is about. This is Restomod now. And this is our last restoration and it's our car. So, sitting in front of the car is our Gen 3 Hemi. This is a 2006 block, I believe, and it has a Molinar rotating assembly. It is stroked as a 4.05 stroke, I believe. It came out roughly to 392 cubes. It has Eagle Arrington stage, I forgot, 6 port job on the heads. Has a custom comp roller. has a Holley Terminator system, Holley injectors, Holley throttle body. That's no longer, it's been discontinued. They called this a Pro Stock throttle body. The intake manifold is called a prefix. CASCAR, I think the Canadian NASCAR League uses them. We have TTI headers. We have a Holley accessory drive system. And this engine will be going to the dyno April 4th. You're going to see it on our channel. We got to fix the oil leak we got on the pan. I don't know if my oil pan bolts are too long, but we're going to address that tomorrow. It's not bad, but it's a leak. A leak is a leak. So we're going to get that resolved tomorrow, get some sensor issues resolved, but I think we're pretty close, and it will be ready for dyno day April 4th at Kuntz Automotive in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Same place where Just Mopar Joe has all his big blocks and I guess small blocks dynoed. A gentleman named Brad, very nice gentleman. So looking forward to that. We'll be videoing that. Next up, if you notice the wheels, these are vintage wheel Ventique, I believe, called wheel Ventique. The front tires and the wheels are sitting out further because they have adapters on them. The spindles that are on this car this car came with a 4-bolt bolt pattern, so that it's got adapters that Joe put on there just so we can roll it around. The car is getting a Hemi-Denny coilover suspension system, so we'll be losing the torsion bars, going to the coilover. The wheels will suck in at least an inch after we get that new system on there. Jamie, if you're watching from Dead Dodge Garage, I'm going to try to get that ordered here in the next month or so. And that way, your disc brake conversion, I have your calipers over there, and you'll get these spindles, and they are your favorite 5-on-4 pattern. In addition, Jamie, if you're interested, the axles that came out of this car, I converted the axles already in the back to the 5-on-4.5, and the axles that came out are 5-on-4 Mosers. So, you know, they're nice axles. If Jamie's not interested in them, anybody's interested in a set of 5-on-4 axles that are made by Moser for an A body, I drag race with them, and they're fantastic. We got a surprise though when we got to Joe's today. I got a surprise for you. I didn't know what it was. Well, he pulls out, and I'm going to try to insert the picture in this video. He found the original build sheet under the rear seat of this car, and it is fully intact. It is all there. And how Joe got that thing out without anything breaking, I have no idea. But we were excited as hell when he presented that to us. He went above and beyond on the build sheet. He went to a gentleman, I don't know if he's in Arkansas or Missouri, but Keith Knoll, Knoll Restorations. I hope to get to meet you sometime. He sat down and he went over the VIN tag on this car. He read the Fender tag, and he ended up reading the build sheet. It is very interesting what this car came with. I was flabbergasted. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Yes, it's originally a 318 car, but it was ordered with a Sure Grip rear end, 8 3/4, with 276 gears, and it had a front sway bar. I was flabbergasted at that. I did not know. When I got the car, I was 14, and I can't remember on that rear end. I didn't know what I know now, and I remember I had messed that rear end up, and I ended up getting another 8 3/4 out of a Duster back in the 80s, and it was a Sure Grip. But I could not believe this car came with a Sure Grip with a 318. So odd. And then the side straps, you know, a 318 car with side straps. That's the way it was ordered. It shows it on the broadcast sheet and on the fender tag. So he's gonna have a really cool video on decoding this car. So we have a Silver Sport transmission that's going to be coming in. It's going to play with the Hemi. Yes, it is a 4L60E, my fellow Moparians. I know y'all don't like that, but I did not want to cut this car up to put a 46 RH or even a RE in. Yes, I know that you use some massaging, you can do this, you can do that, but it doesn't play with the Terminator, from what I understand, and it just makes it so much easier to just plug and play, have one computer system, instead of having to shift and hit this button, pull this button. You just put it in gear and go. So I've heard a lot of people that have done that on the Mopars, gone to the 4L60E from Silver Sport Transmissions. So that's going to be coming. And then Trish and I got a lot of work on this car. We've got to wire it. We've got to put brake lines back in after we get the new suspension in. We've got a ton of work. So this thing's still probably, I would say, at least a year and a half out from being anywhere near even getting to drive it down the driveway. We've got so many things we need to do. We gotta have the seat. There's a gentleman here named Roy Petrie in Oklahoma, in our local town. He's probably gonna redo the seat, and he's probably gonna restore and put the headliner back in it. So, yeah, and Roy, if you're watching, we'll be reaching out to you, buddy, neighbor. So, yeah, be getting a headliner, shifter, all kinds of things, carpet, the instrument cluster. You know, I love my Decoding digital instrument cluster that we put in the Charger. Unfortunately, they don't make one for a 68 Mopar A-body with the round gauges, but they did say if I send them my cluster that they would make one, and that's going to happen. So our instrument cluster will be going to Decoding Digital to be basically have kind of what we have in the Charger, one for an A-body Mopar with all the round gauges, but be Decoding Digitals. AC system, that's going to be going in from Classic Air, I think. I can't remember. But lots of things going on with this car. And I hope everybody gets to see it and watch it. And I really hope that you guys and gals provide comments if you think I'm doing something that's harebrained. If I'm not hiding anything. I'm not hiding anything. I'm showing all the mistakes I make along the way. So you got any ideas? Right now it has a 430 Yukon rear end in it. Obviously traction lock, shear grip, excuse me, but we raced it with the small block. So that's going to be going back to a 373. That'll have to be programmed in with the transmission. But after that, this thing's going to be ready to cruise. And it's got to be just like this Jeep, my truck, my company car, all these cars, no trailer queens. They have to be roadworthy. Making these cars where if we need them in an emergency or something, or just to go drive wherever we want to go drive them. So anyway, I am super excited. Got my car back. This is how it looked when my dad bought it. As far as, it wasn't this nice, but it was this color. It was already probably 16 years old by that time that he had found it. The original owner, we have all the paperwork. I have everything. I'm basically the second owner. The original gentleman bought it up in Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, I believe. So, yeah. So, thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.
Keith with Mopar Joe. Here's a fender tag from a 1960. Here's one thing that we've done before is we do a rubbing letter, and Joe actually wrote this out. 14 white wall tire. 191 450 is the grill moldings and wheel lip moldings. Does it for the fender tag. Let's move on to the build sequence number or VIN number, the shipping order number. The next row there, 32 to 34, 41 for your 318 engine, 5421 for your radio, that's an AM, at 487 cigarette lighter, and 480 dual horns are standard. Bar 579 is under hood of the build sheet. Now we're going to move on to the... So an effort to decode this build sheet is start with the wheel or the wheel covers. Here is the fender tag and build sheet decode. And also Dave Weiss, he has just... Anyway, there's Joe's